We're good? All right. Welcome, folks. I'm Amy Johnson. I'm the new Executive Director of Roots and Branches. First, I want to apologize for some technical difficulties. This certainly is a new world we're living in, and between WebEx, Zoom, all the other platforms, some things kind of act up a little bit. But just a little bit about Roots and Branches. The organization has been around for 30 years. In fact, during 2020, we celebrated our 30th anniversary. I'm not sure we really celebrated it. I think we're going to wait and celebrate maybe more next year. But we're an organization that really works to beautify West Bend through a variety of ways. We have adopted plots, which are beautiful landscaping around our downtown area, which we're very proud of. We also have Clean Up, Green Up, which is a cleanup project held every spring. We also have the Mayor's Beautification Awards for residential and for business. And we also have Arbor Day for in the schools. So we do a variety of things. It's ran, there's a couple of us in the office. However, it's volunteer driven, totally volunteer driven. And we have many volunteers that put forth a lot of effort. And I'm pleased to introduce one of them today, Susan Steinhoffel. She is a board member on Roots and Branches, and she's also our program chair who set all of this up with Jane. And so I'm going to hand it over to her. Thanks, Susan.
Oh, thanks, Amy. Good evening, everyone, again. Welcome to our first virtual seminar for Roots and Branches. Once again, I'm Susan Steinhoffel, program chair, and we've been conducting our diverse selection of speakers normally in the West Bend City Hall. And so next year we have all sorts of wonderful speakers all set for you, so stay tuned on our. We'll see if we have to go virtual or not, but stay tuned on our website and you'll be informed about that. But anyway, we move forward in our mission, even if we're doing virtually, to keep you informed, educated, and enlightened with our organization, Roots and Branches. So our speaker, Jane Hawley Stevens, began specializing in herbs in 1981. After earning a degree in horticulture from the University of Wisconsin-Madison, she founded her business in 1987. Four Elements Organic Herbals is based on plants grown in her cultivated fields, chakra garden, prairie, and woodlands on her farm in the pristine Baraboo Bluffs. So 2020 Organic Farmer of the Year, awesome, congratulations, Jane.
Thank you.
It's dedicated to connecting people to nature for their health and the health of the planet. A pioneer of organic farming and natural products communities, Jane aims to inspire others through living her truth, bringing herbal wellness to the marketplace, and teaching herbalism and organic farming methods throughout the country. Quite a bio, Jane, that's wonderful. So tonight she has answers to some very important questions. Feeling stressed? Would you like to nurture yourself with a reset? And how do I blend and create my own herbal teas? Jane will describe each of her herbal teas and why she chooses insights on how to blend your own straight from your garden. She will be discussing 5 of her herbal blends, I'm sure you know, right, which is www.4elementsherbals.com. She's offering 20% discount on the teas she will be discussing. And if you didn't have the chance to go to her wonderful website, this offer is through November 22nd for any and all she has to offer. Enter the code RS20. So for those who have their warm cup of tea all set and ready to go, cheers. Take it away, Jane.
Thank you, Susan, and thanks to Amy too, and all of you, Roots and Branches. I was very impressed listening to Amy, what she had to say about your organization, because I've heard this phrase and it really stuck with me. Beauty is the most powerful force in the universe. And by doing all your work there, you're really making a difference in your community by cultivating beauty and the participation among gardeners. I think this is really great work you're doing. So I'm so happy to partner with you tonight. So I'll jump right in because we're starting a little late today. But anyway, so I'm going to be talking about increase your wellness with herbal teas. I'm sorry you're not going to be able to see the slides tonight. I'm going to see if I can somehow get them to Susan where the or even you can contact me. I can figure out a way to get you these slides if you're interested. So anyway, because they are pretty and I've got a lot of nice pictures in there. So maybe we'll have a chance to get together in the future too. But anyway, I wanted to congratulate all of you for signing up and joining us tonight, because even by signing up to join us, you have engaged in your healing path, because you've made a choice to spend your evening learning, increasing your education on how you can connect with herbs and have them support you in this really difficult time that no one has ever lived in. I mean, this is just such a difficult time, and I'm just so grateful that I have nature to support me, and I have my plants and my herbs, and especially my tea. It's just really important for me to have these herbal allies, and I hope I can inspire you to make some of your own teas as well. So thank you for joining us, and I have a picture of my different teas. We are making 8 different teas now. It's To Your Health, Joy, Love, and Passion, Peace, Harmony, Tranquility, Triple Lemon, Tulsi Telepathy, After Dinner Fennel Mint, Peppermint Nettle, and Mine is Sinus. So some of those are out of stock right now, and today is such a day I've dedicated to tea, because for the past month I've been organizing all the harvests that we had through the spring, summer, and fall. And we've gathered up all our herbs here. I figure there's about 750 pounds of herbs on 3 pallets that I loaded onto a semi to go get processed into tea bags. The teas are the only thing that we don't process ourselves, because 80% of the people like their tea in tea bags, and we just don't have the capacity to put our tea in tea bags. But anyway, that's what I did all day today. I had a friend take a picture of me with the tractor loading these teas onto the truck. But anyway, I'm happy to give back after nature has given me so much with all these great healing plants. So in this next slide, what I was gonna tell you was just how important it is to really incorporate herbs into your well-being, because you can really support your health and make a difference. A weak or a sad person it's much easier to get ill than somebody who's happy and strong. And really, by avoiding illness, it's a really important factor to keep you out of the doctor's office for medical care, because even though doctors are well trained and they do their best they can, really, according to Johns Hopkins University, medical errors are the 3rd leading cause of death in America. This was before COVID. I don't know if COVID has bumped it out, but first is heart disease, cancer, and then it was medical errors. So the more you can do to strengthen yourself, it's a really important move. You could be grabbing a tea to brighten your day, but really you could be nourishing yourself on a deep level where it'll make a difference. And I always love to show photosynthesis because it just proves how plants and people were meant to be together. If you look at the diagram of photosynthesis, in the presence of sunshine, you have plants in the middle with the sun shining on it. And then on the one hand, like we breathe out carbon dioxide, and just with the presence of water, plants then create sugar and oxygen for us. And like those are two of our staples, right? Sugar and oxygen. So sugar in the form of like plant foods, and it's just like the basic building blocks. But if you look at that slide someday, you'll just see how well we fit together. So it's just such a natural thing to reach for plants. It's just not part of our culture. So many other cultures still use herbs in their well-being practices, but since World War II, it's been less and less common to have herbs as remedies, just things around the house. So the first thing I'd like to do is just describe the difference between a tea, get some definitions out of the way. So first of all, if we're going to get technical, and we might as well, we all signed up for this class, tea actually is a plant, and it's called Camellia sinensis. And tea is a black tea, green tea, or sometimes they call it white tea, but that's all the same plant. Camellia sinensis. It's a tropical plant actually related to camellias, which grow around Georgia in the wild. They have beautiful waxy flowers. So the difference is black tea is fermented, green is fresh, and the white tea is just the tips. So if you're going to be technical, tea is actually a plant, and a tisane is a herbal beverage. I just call herbal teas because that's common in America. But if you go to France or some places in Europe, tisane is what they would call an herbal beverage. So now you know the difference. And then there's a difference between an infusion and a decoction. An infusion is where you pour boiling water over your herbs, and it's nice if you can cover them, like you have these great coffee cups with covers, or a teapot. When it's covered, it keeps the essential oils in. So that's the correct way to make, but that's our next slide. So anyway, so an infusion is the ones that you make with flowers and leaves and foliage. A decoction is more with roots. So the correct way to brew a proper cup of tea is boil water. And really, microwaving is not the right method here because you need the temperature up to 212 in order, once it hits a boil, it's going to extract the qualities of the herbs into solution much better than if it didn't hit that boiling point. And another benefit of reaching that boiling point is when you pour it over the herbs, it's going to sterilize everything. So, it's just a good thing to do is to boil your water, take the time, pour it over your herbs. Then it's great to cover them because I actually did this experiment during deer camp a few years ago where, so I boiled the water, poured it over the tea, and I had the guys sniff the tea lid that carried the condensation and the teapot, and they both said, wow, the lid is actually smelling more than the teapot. Well, that's because the volatile oils popped out of the herbs and they land on the top. So like if you don't cover it, then the best flavors are going to be volatilizing away. So it's always good if you can cover your tea right after you pour the boiling water on it. let it steep for 10 minutes or so, and then after that, I like to just keep my tea bags in my cup or teapot. But if you're using black or green tea, it's a much smaller duration of time that you steep that, just like 3 minutes for caffeinated teas that come from Camellia sinensis. The tisanes, I like to just leave the tea bag in there because it gets a little more complex flavor. The essential oils pop out first, but then come other constituents. And in fact, if you want to get minerals out of your tea, it takes several hours to get the minerals out of various types of herbs that you would use as a mineral-rich tea, like dandelion leaf, nettles, red clover blossom. Those sort of things are very mineral-rich and is one of the reasons why they put them in herbal teas. So it's really great to just leave them in. And in fact, when I make tea, I often make it, of course, when I'm interested in having a cup. So I'll pour the boiling water over it. I'll empty the pot, down halfway or something. And then I'll pour some more boiling water on that and just let it steep overnight. And I can have a cup of that in the morning, knowing that then I've extracted the calcium and iron and magnesium and everything out of these plants, that I'm not throwing all that away, and it gets to fortify me in a way that's totally assimilatable. Like when you extract minerals from plants, they're in a way that your body can really absorb. With vitamins and minerals, a lot of times they can't, your gut really doesn't break down those pills so much, and you end up losing a lot of that, just basically goes back into your water system. So we probably have some really healthy water in our streams and lakes from that recycling of our vitamins. But okay, so with leaves and herbs, as I said, those are more volatile and you just pour the boiling water over them. But with roots, barks, and stems, you need to simmer those. Usually the constituents are bound a little tighter in roots, barks, and seeds or stems. So you'd like to simmer those for a while, then cover it and let it sit. And same with mushrooms. If you are lucky enough to know somebody who can identify mushrooms for you, those are very large constituents called polysaccharides. And, those are really good boiled into water, but, it's just good to kind of leave those in so that they can be extracted properly. Mushrooms are really gaining popularity in America now for helping to support healthy immune function and other things as well. So the first tea I'm going to talk about, a 4 Elements brand, it's the Joy, Love, and Passion. And my little tagline was, ease your stress and create comfort. So supporting yourself in a time of crisis or when just feeling blue is an important piece of self-care and well-being. And also for others in your household, just the act of making a cup of tea and serving that really creates a nice environment, and helping each other and nurturing each other. It's just really important, especially when there's so little stimulation we can get outside the home. Just those little acts of caring can really make a difference in the harmony around your home, and of course that's super important for well-being. So the first herb that I'd like to talk about there is lemon balm. So I would call that my signature plant, good old Melissa officinalis. So whenever a plant is named the species officinalis, that means when that plant was named in the 1700s by Linnaeus, that was the official pharmacopoeia plant of the time. Those were the plants that were grown in monastic gardens and were used by the priests of the time for healing. And so it's always cool when you see a plant officinalis, because then you know it was official for healing. Lemon balm, there's so many good reasons why I love that plant. It's abundant, it's easy to grow, it has so many qualities that it's just amazing. Like when I look at my old herb books, it'll, say supports healthy immune function, supports healthy digestion. It's actually been proven in double-blind studies to shorten the duration and lessen the symptoms of the herpes virus. So there are some really potent constituents in lemon balm that can actually have been proven to help in that situation. It also really helps provide a calm spirit and restores the nerves, promotes a healthy nervous system. It actually helps to bring in joy because it helps you to just relax a little bit so your muscles aren't so tight. And when you have that extra breath or that extra calmness, your energy just starts circulating better within your body. And when you have less tension, you just feel better. And it has those qualities. Let's see. So I have this great herb book called Herbal Medicine by Rudolph Weiss, who is a physician in Germany and used herbs for his whole career. He said for any digestive issue, you only need 3 plants: a mint, chamomile, or lemon balm. And so I think of lemon balm as something that helps you to relax as you're eating, to help promote a more healthful digestion. And anyway, it tastes great. That's the other thing. It tastes so nice. Some of these herbs I'm going to mention tonight maybe won't have that great of a flavor. So it's really, I think as a base herb to put some of your herbal teas around, lemon balms are just such a winner because of its abundance, flavor, qualities, etc. So the next plant I'm going to talk about is roses, and that's also in the Joy, Love, and Passion tea. And so roses, I consider the plant where heaven meets earth. They just have such a high vibration. I mean, who can put their nose in a rose and not change the way their psyche is? I mean, it really has the power to uplift our spirit. And I think it's just such an important plant and easy to just add into your tea blends. It adds that great aroma. So when you lift your nose up to your cup, you're going to get that great scent. And it's just really wonderful. I love the taste of it. It has some bitter qualities, but bitter is actually really important. It's an important thing for us to taste. So when you taste a bitter quality, somebody's writing on the page here. It's kind of cute. If you...
Oh, never mind.
Okay. All right. So anyway, back to roses. It tastes and smells great. They're easy to grow if you get the Carefree or the Knockout series. Those are both varieties so you don't need to spray chemicals on them. They're very easy to grow. In fact, the Knockout series was developed right in Milwaukee, right in your area, at one of the curators at the Berner Botanical Garden. And by the way, I was raised about 5 miles from there, and I used to bicycle over there as a kid. So I'm so familiar with that, and I'm sure it influenced my my path. Those beautiful gardens. So with roses, you can use them both internally and externally. And sometimes, like if you have extra tea in your pot and you take a bath, it's really nice to put that in your bath because your body and your skin can absorb the herbs, same as if you drink them. It's pretty amazing to know how quickly your body and your skin can absorb what's around you. And that's why I sometimes like to use my extra tea into the bath, put it into the bath. Makes quite a difference. So the next plant I'm going to talk about is chamomile, Matricaria racutica. I like the German chamomile. That's the Matricaria racutica one. There is the Roman as well, but the German grows so much better in our region. And I would highly recommend for all of you to just get a little packet of seeds in the spring, because might have a lifetime of chamomile. This reseeds every year, but not in an obnoxious way, just enough to keep it going. It is an annual, and it actually starts coming up this time of year. So the rosettes form in your garden where it reseeded, and they just stay over winter, and then so they can emerge early in the summer and the spring. Once it gets hot, chamomile goes away. So this is a plant that you need to harvest twice a week to keep it producing more and more throughout your growing season, which is probably all through May and halfway into June, and then it'll quit blooming. And I have a proper chamomile rake, which is kind of, if you ever saw a rake that they used for collecting blueberries, it's very similar. You can find them in Johnny's catalog. But for the first probably 15 years of my career, I just used my fingers like this. And I would scoop them up in little handsful. It would be like a rake with my fingers. And I'd clip a little basket to my belt loop with a carabiner. And then I could use two hands, like that's the same way I pick berries, with a little basket clipped to my belt loop. And then you can run around and collect your stuff a little quicker. So it's very easy to grow chamomile. It reseeds. We all know it as a calming herb. I, in fact, don't use chamomile unless it's bedtime or I'm having an intensely intense day, because it does make me more sleepy. In fact, I also love that story of Peter Rabbit, how his mother gave him chamomile tea after he almost bit the dust in Mr. McGregor's garden. He lost his shoe and his jacket, but she told him not to go there, and she just put him to bed without dinner with chamomile tea. So it helped to calm him down. So it's always fun to think of those little stories. They help you remember what these plants do. So chamomile is actually cooling. So if you have like a heat condition, chamomile is really good. Like when my kids were sick with as kids going to school, I would always serve them chamomile tea with honey in it. It has a little bitter quality, again, but bitters are good. They help us digest our food. So anyway, it'd give them some chamomile tea and it would help them relax. It would actually help them feel better, and it'd be kind of cooling in case there was any redness or anything going on in their health where it was too hot. So by the way, I'm being super careful with my words. I am not a doctor, and I can't claim that any herbs cure, treat, or mitigate. Oh, you have questions. Oh, there, if they have questions. Okay, thank you. Yeah, so anyway, I can't claim to treat, mitigate, or cure anything with my plants, so I'm dancing around not saying any diseases. I can't mention a disease. What is okay if I say it helps to promote a healthy body system. So when you find me like kind of not saying exactly what I want to say, that's why. I'm very respectful of those rules. Okay, so the next tea I'm going to talk about is my Tulsi, or the holy basil. This is the Tulsi Telepathy, which is what I'm drinking tonight. I love Tulsi because it gives me mental clarity, and it's just really delicious. It has a bit of clove flavor in it, so it's more of a spicy flavor. It grows just like sweet basil, only it's more spicy. It's traditional in India taken every day. The tradition was to grow a pot of Tulsi and set that by your door. And actually, when I was on tech support a couple times, Anyway, I'm moving on to the immune system now. Sorry that happened. Okay, so anyway, by supporting yourself in a time of crisis, or even when you're feeling blue, is an important time for self-care. And so first thing I'm going to do is talk about Echinacea. So this is one that I bet you have growing all over your beautiful West Bend, because of the way you're promoting growing herbs and beautifying. Echinacea is so useful because it's beautiful. For probably 6 weeks out of the summer, it's got these beautiful pink blossoms. They're very upright and like cheery. And you can use the flowers, the leaves, and the root. So the roots you collect after the frost in the fall, or when they just emerge in the spring. That's when you collect roots. But the leaves and the flowers you can collect all summer, and I like to use those in my tea blends. So what Echinacea does, it helps to support a healthy immune system. In Germany, they study plants as well as pharmaceutical drugs in their equivalent of the FDA, called German Commission E. So they've studied our American plant, Echinacea, and found it to be so effective for enhancing effective immune systems that they have it in the hospitals there. It's like in a drip IV, and and they've proven that it works in 8 different ways to help your body respond to invaders. I always think of it like sending the troops out. When I take Echinacea, it's when I feel like I might be feeling something's coming on. Of course, now with all the big health concerns, I really watch, like if I go out, I feel I'm around some people, I would use Echinacea in that case too. So it's so easy to grow. It's a perennial, and you can just, keep on picking it throughout the summer. And often with perennials, you wait till the roots are a little bit bigger, like to about the 3rd year before you dig them up. And in fact, then you can just divide them and replant a piece of the plant. Just by cutting a piece off. You can see that when you dig it up. Another very important plant for right now is elderberry. So elderberry grows great around there. I actually found on a bike path around Grafton, between Grafton and Bay, what is it? The one just north of there, there was this amazing elderberry patch. And it was so good, I actually drove back there this fall to see about picking him. And somebody had made that patch much, much smaller. It was really sad to see, because especially this year, elderberry would be a really important and good plant to have as an ally in your home. So there's been double-blind studies on a kibbutz in Israel about the effectiveness of elderberry for, it was actually for the flu. And they gave the double-blind study, so half the people got a placebo, maybe grape juice or something, half the people got elderberry. And the people who received the elderberry, their duration of the flu was half the time, and they had less symptoms. And I just know this from my family's use too. So this acts differently than elderberry, than Echinacea. This works more, it's just works more with infections more than just boosting your immune system. So it was called the medicine chest of the folk people because every plant was useful. Every part of the plant was useful. We use the flowers in herbalism, we use the berries, and they're really delicious too. So let's see. And then my next picture, I wish you could see it because it's an elderflower, and that's how you find out where to pick your elderberries. You can plant an elderberry bush, but they're so common in the wild. But what you have to do is go out around 4th of July and look for tall shrubs, like maybe 8-foot tall shrubs that have white, fluffy blossoms on the top. Those are probably the elder, and then you know where to find them. Then go back when the tomatoes are just lush and just gushing out of the garden, and that's when the elderberries are ripe, and that's when you can go back and collect the elderberries. Another really important plant that you could add to your teas, so by the way, you could add the elderberries and the elderflowers into your tea. I really love elderflowers. I think they taste delicious. And another fun thing to do with them is make an elderflower fizz. So when the elderflowers are ripe, you could look this up, or I could post this. If you sign up for my newsletter, you get this sort of information of what you can do various times of year. But you pick elderflowers fresh, and you put them in a gallon with water with about 2 cups of sugar, and just cover it with a cloth, and it starts fermenting, and you get this great effervescent beverage flavored with the elderflowers. So that's a really great beverage that you can make at home around the 4th of July. Another plant I consider really important is Astragalus membranaceus. This is the root of a Chinese herb, although there is a native Astragalus to Wisconsin that grows in the prairies. But this one helps to support and tone the immune system. And like my mother, when she was in her 80s, had congestive heart failure and got pneumonia for 3 different years in a row. And I just said, why don't you just try Astragalus? Because it's meant to strengthen and support a healthy immune function. So all she did was add Astragalus to her breakfast every day. She put about 2 drops only in her orange juice, and she stayed well and didn't even get a cold for 5 years. I was just so impressed, and she loved her Astragalus. It was her buddy. And a lot of times we think of plants such as sage and thyme, that those are just good for flavorings, but those are also plants that have been used traditionally, and they both have the species officinalis, so that gives you a clue. They both have similar phenolic compounds, and so they're very potent, and in fact, Lysol, the original Lysol, was made with the plant thyme. It was the thyme essential oil was what made Lysol so potent. And I love the Latin name of sage, Salvia officinalis. Salvia means to heal, and officinalis means the official plant of the apothecary. So if you just take that name and translate it, Salvia, to heal, the official healing plant. So I've used this topically for my dog when she got stuck in barbed wire, and really helped her. It's a strong astringent plant, so it helps to bind things together. But both of those are really nice, great plants too. And those are in the To Your Health, and the thyme is in the Minus Sinus tea. So I'm going to quickly talk about how easy it is for you to make your own herbal teas. For one thing, don't forget about the weeds. And what is a weed? A weed is a plant whose use has not been discovered. So I love to use wild plants, you could call them weeds, in some of my teas, like nettles, like the regular stinging nettles, is so full of minerals. It's one of the most mineral-rich plants, and it is the most chlorophyll-rich plant. So that's one plant that you'd like to let sit in your infusion overnight, so it can extract all of these great minerals. It's rich in iron, vitamin C, It's very nourishing for the blood. Like, after all, did you hear that chlorophyll is very similar to our blood in its chemical structure? So by having these chlorophyll-rich plants, you're really helping to fortify yourself. And nettles is one of them. It also is full of silica, so it helps your hair and nails. And it's a perennial, and it does reseed, but it is that nasty, stinging nettle. So you have to be careful. Like, you can harvest it with gloves on or with the scissors or pruners. In fact, it's so full of chlorophyll that when they first started planting green or putting green beans in cans after World War II, canned vegetables became a thing, that they actually dyed the green beans with the water from nettles. That's where the green came from before artificial colorings. So we love our nettles. And don't forget about our dandelions. Dandelion is a great liver herb, and liver is considered the seat of health in Chinese medicine. I really do bring in a couple dandelions when I'm out weeding in the spring and the fall, and I just simmer them up and use them as a tonic. They don't taste the greatest, they're bitter, but that bitter is important for your digestion. By having a bitter substance in your mouth, it sends a message to your brain to that you're going to be eating something soon. So your hypothalamus sends a message into your gut to start secreting digestive enzymes, and your gallbladder gets ready to take care of fats. And all of that can happen just by taking a bitter substance like a dandelion tea or something like that before dinner. I love my dandelion. I think it does such a fabulous job. And in fact, as Americans, we all take our cars to get the oil filter changed, but we don't even think of our own filter system, our hardworking livers. And if you have a clogged liver, just consider it would be like never changing the oil filter in your car. You just wouldn't consider doing that. And why do you change the filter in your car? So it doesn't break down and so it runs smoothly. So, consider adding some bitter herbs to your diet and to your teas. It's not all bad. I know in America we just call bitter is what you call something that tastes bad. But it can be a really good thing. So blending your own teas engages you in your healing process. You get to look closely at yourself first. What issues do I need to support? What do I need to do for myself? Is it my digestion? Like, do I have any like achy joints or anything? You look at yourself, and then you can start picking out plants in nature that can help to support you. It's such a beautiful partnership. It's really exciting for me to talk about it. This is actually my favorite thing, is to try to connect you to plants and just to create that harmony within your body and within our whole environment. I think it's such an integral thing. So the way you would blend your herbal teas is you just start with a couple ingredients and a base flavor that you're familiar with, like a mint, like lemon balm, lemongrass, lemon verbena. Pick out a nice flavor that you like, holy basil, sage, fennel, and then you can start adding some of the herbs that you need to help to support yourself, like red clover blossom, or is it echinacea that you'd like to put in there? Or something that supports healthy lung function, like mullein. You can still collect mullein outside now. They're those big fuzzy leaves that grow in a rosette. That wouldn't be too hard to find, I know it. The raspberry leaves are gone, so you'd have to wait till the spring. But there are some plants that actually taste delicious and you can still collect, like pine needles. Pine needles actually make a really delicious tea. You can sweeten it with honey or stevia, And I've made arborvitae tea. You wouldn't want to take that every day because there's some thujone in there, but an occasional cup of arborvitae or white cedar makes a delicious tea. If you break apart what arborvitae means, it's the tree of life. It's full of vitamin C and has a really unique taste. And once you get familiar with some of those tastes, you can figure out how you'd like to blend them. Like, oh, this might be good with rosemary, for example. Or it might be good with a little floral taste, like a roses or something. Chamomile. And then consider that, it's really fun to blend things for different times of year. Like use some violets in the spring, or red clover in the summer, sumac berries in the later summer, or pine or arborvitae in the winter. Just start, blending a few things, and know that there's no really hard rules. It's like making soup. You can follow a recipe, or you can just look in your fridge and see what you think blends well together. A lot of the best inventions were mistakes, so to speak, right? So herbal teas are so delicious. They're healthy, they're inexpensive, they're easy to transport. You don't have to buy a can or an extra bottle and create more garbage. They're 0 to few calories, and they're just a great choice. I love the flavors that you can get from these plants, and I think you'll have fun, going to your garden, picking some herbs and making tea. And you can do this all summer long with fresh, or this is one reason why you dry your herbs all through the season, is so that you can make your own herbal teas throughout the year. So you just can go to your garden, and if you don't want to blend things and make a big ordeal out of it, you can just put different things in your teapot and see how you like them. Pour your boiling water over them, cover it, steep for 3 to 10 minutes, and then give it a taste, see if it needs a little sweetener, pour it, and enjoy it. I have a sneeze lingering right in here, but I think it's going to go away. Okay. So, we go through the whole 9 yards to make our teas. I order the seeds, or else I've been saving my own seeds for a long time now. I grow those in a greenhouse, and in fact, I do have a plant sale in the spring. Last year, I had to convert it to an online sale, so check my website if you want to get some plants in the spring. We'll see where we are with social distancing, or if I have to ship them. Or maybe we could you could have a trip to the farm. It's a beautiful drive up in the Baraboo area. We're up in the Baraboo Bluffs. So anyway, I grow all these great plants, and then we row them out in the fields. We cultivate them, weed them, mulch them, water them. And then when it comes time for harvesting, this year I got a really excellent herb harvesting machine from New Zealand that chops the herbs and it comes up like a conveyor belt into a big basket. Before this, we were harvesting just with knives and head shears. And so it's about time we upgraded to this beautiful herb harvesting machine. It took 3 months to get here from New Zealand on a boat. So plan ahead if you're thinking of it. So then we put them in our dryer. Then we got to take this, chop them up somehow to get them in bags, and then labeled properly. And all the paperwork is happening throughout all of that because we're certified organic and we have to have the whole paper trail. Plus, it's just good manufacturing practices. And then we bag them up, and I had some pictures of, they're just basically gunny sacks full of herbs. But today was the day. I shipped all of them off to go to sunny California to get made into tea bags. So we are running low on some of our stock because this just took much longer than I thought, ordering the truck and a few other technical details. You know how that goes. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just so happy to give you this message of how accessible all these things are. And I always love to leave on this note. I mean, nature gives us so much, and we happily accept all of this. And as Thanksgiving approaches, I just really want us to feel that gratitude. And this is a quote from Robin Wall Kimmerer's book, Braiding Sweetgrass. And she talks about the honorable harvest. If any of you have that book, I would really pull that out this coming week during Thanksgiving and read the whole section on honorable harvest. She goes through each thing that nature gives us. No way could she go through everything, but it probably takes about 10 minutes to thank the air, the earth, the water, our community, all these things that nature gives us to sustain our life. I just think it's very important for us to show respect for these gifts that nature gives us, and not wasting them, and respecting everything, and to give some gratitude and thanks for that which sustains us. The world is so generous, and I think we should acknowledge that. So you can do that through little rituals. You could throw a little cornmeal out in your garden and thank it for all that it gave you this year. Even mentioning this sort of thing around your Thanksgiving table. And really, all of you who are in Roots and Branches are already doing that by donating your time and energy and efforts to create beauty in your community. That's definitely a way you're giving thanks and gratitude for all that nature gives us. So I applaud you for all of that. I think it's such a worthwhile project you have. So I hope that I can come there someday and meet you all in person. I encourage you to check out my website, 4elementsherbals.com. We're going to have sales for Black Friday it's Black Friday and, Cyber Monday and all of that, Small Business Saturday. So check it out. We've got sales going on. And I hope to meet you all in person. And thank you. You worked so hard, Susan and Amy, to make this happen. And when it doesn't, we just got it. Like my dad was a basketball coach in Muskego, and he always said, if you're a pro, you adjust. So yay to you guys, you did it. Oh, I can't hear you.
Thank you. All right.
Okay, yeah.
Thank you, Jane. Really appreciate your participation. I know we had some glitches, and maybe we can figure out something for the future. I don't know if you've thought about doing your presentation via YouTube video, but that might be an option.
Nice. That's a great idea.
So, we'll connect, and we'll maybe work on some ideas. I know some people weren't able to connect. There were some problems, and some were, but we'll figure it out, and we can track back with the folks that had signed up and see if we can't get you queued up again.
Okay.
But it was very interesting. I enjoyed it, and I love the tea.
All right. Well, cheers. Well, thank you to all your efforts. I know you worked so hard on this. So anyway, I applaud you, and I look forward to meeting you in person again whenever that's safe, right?
Yep. Thanks, Jane. Really appreciate it.
Oh.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye now.
Okay, thanks. Signing off.
Thank you.
Good night.